Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California, and today I'm going to talk about soil, how you can save money if you don't have the money to buy a new bag of soil. But let's talk about starting seeds today in the soil that you will need. Now the thing is, you want to make sure it's a soil that is good to grow in. Remember, we talked about some of the bag soils that have herbicides in there. If they've got that, it's not going to grow. So get a good quality soil to start your seedlings in so you know it's going to grow. Now, if you've got soil, this is what I really want to talk about. From last year, you've got a bag and it's wrapped up and it's tucked away somewhere and you don't have the money to go out and buy another bag right now. You can use that soil to start your seeds. You can sift out some of the big chunks to get rid of, so the seeds can grow better if they're on the top. You can we'll get back to that in a second because that is a good point so you don't have to do as much work. But let's get back to the soil for a minute. I digressed. Now, the soil you had last year left over that worked fantastic, you put it in your containers or wherever you put it, it worked. That is good soil. But the problem is if it's been stored outside in a garage or anywhere and the bag's been open, you could have fungus gnats in there. You could have any type of fungus growing or mold or bacteria in there that could harm your seedlings. And that's what you want to make sure it's clean. But you love that soil. I'll tell you what to do. It's the easiest thing. Get yourself a roasting pan with a lid. Now, I'm using my own roasting pan. I didn't have to go buy anything because it's soil. And you're going to load in the soil inside the roasting pan, okay? The soil that you want to use. You don't have to sift it right now because that's just too much extra work. And like I said, we'll get back to that. Then you put it in your oven, covered, and bake it for about 10 to 15 minutes at 3 to 350. I did this one at 350. After 15 minutes, what I suggest is turn the fire off. And if you don't have to use the oven, let it sit there and cool down. If you need to go bake something and you need to use your oven, then go ahead and take it out and let it sit. Once it's cool, completely cold, that's when you lift the lid up and you can check your soil. Your soil will be now baked and free of any type of critters that will not be good for your seeds, all right? Now you can leave it, you don't have to do it again and use that soil. But this way you don't have to go out and buy seed starting soil, which is just an extra fine soil with nothing much in it. You can use the soil that you've been using that you know is good. And that's what I did. I had an old bag of soil. I've been using it all over the gardens. I knew it was good, so I baked it. And once I baked it, I ended up with soil that is clean and ready to grow in. And I've got some beets growing in here right now. I've got onions growing in here. And I'm starting some tomatoes in my 2-cup system that I've been doing for years and years, where one has holes and one does not. So you can sit this anywhere in the house or bring it outside during the day, but you won't have to worry about any messy water. I know some of you have come to me and said, people are copying you, because I did this years ago when I first started. It's okay. Let everybody do this because 2-cup systems, whether you do it this way or this way, work fantastic for the average small gardener that doesn't have a big greenhouse or big areas where they're starting seeds. So this is a good way to get your soil clean. Now, as I was saying, why you don't have to sift it, because some people say seeds can't grow. If there's a little chunk in there, it's going to stop the seeds to grow. Well, you can say anything you want, but if you look around with Mother Nature, nothing is stopping her seeds. Those seeds fall and they grow. They'll grow around it. They'll push themselves completely around or push it off. You can't believe how strong seedlings are. It's amazing what they can push up. That's 10 times their weight to get up to see the sunlight when the time is right. If you try to grow your seeds too early, that's when they won't grow. They don't have the vigor to grow. But let me tell you something. I have seen zucchini seeds, squash seeds come up that far from the bottom of a tote, literally go all the way up, pushing everything over until they bust open and say, I'm here. And I'm saying, well, I didn't want you because I was going to plant something else in there. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, because we'll get more into all the ways I start my seeds. You know I use my tool. I've got a lot of videos on that. You know I've been using the 2-cup system. These red cups, you can get them anywhere. Walmart, Target, hardware stores sell them. Sam's Club, there's all kinds of companies that sell them and they're so cheap. And like I said, you make holes in the 1 cup and not in the second, and you can put this anywhere. And then if you want to make a little greenhouse, all you have to do is use the cheapest plastic bags that have no zip tie to it or anything, no zip line. And then they are so cheap. Oh, you're starting. And that is your little greenhouse. And then you don't want to keep it too damp. So if it gets too wet, you can open it up and let it breathe a little bit. But this was the big thing I wanted to discuss with you on how you can get your soil that you love and it worked ready to go for your seedlings this year. I know a few of you have come to me and said you started your seeds and you're like in my zone and you're telling me your plants are leggy. It's too early. And if you've got a greenhouse, you've got something set up with lights and everything, yes, you can keep them alive and get them ready for gardening when it's time to put them out. But if you start them way too early, all you're doing is getting a slow growing plant. And when you start them at the right time, give it about a month, let's say 2 to 4 weeks before it's time to put outside. Those plants, you can't stop them. You put them in the window, you don't have to have grow lights, they're gonna grow, and then you get them out as quick as possible. I'm just starting certain things, and there are certain seeds I will be starting, or you can start at any time because, well, it's an instant food, and we'll get into that at another time. But today I wanted to talk about soil. Now I've got a 2-cup system here. I've got this I can plant out in the garden later on. The tool, you know how I do the tool. I've got videos on that. I can lift it up. Oh, look at all the roots. I can separate them and put them back so I can plant exactly what I want. But the main thing today is cleaning your soil up so you don't get a fungus growing or flies coming out, you know, that have been living in your old soil outside, and you can use the soil that you already had. Some of you have asked me about my kitty litter because nobody else is using kitty litter except for me. Kitty litter is perfect when it's dry. Though I do have kitty litter here on the top, kitty litter holds water. So when you start getting into warmer weather, go back and look in Gary's room. All those plants growing in there are in kitty litter and soil, but that's not for today. Today, you want to make soil to start your seedlings. Know you can bake it, and you will have clean soil, and you will not have any issues with flies and stuff. You know what? I'll go ahead and give you a tip, but we'll talk about it fully in a video. If you've got house plants and you have a lot of those fungus gnats that get in, you can put kitty litter all over the top because a lot of those fungus gnats have to get in contact directly with the soil. And when they can't find the soil, they don't lay their eggs. So that's a hint, but that shouldn't have been in this video. So I hope I've given you ideas of using the soil that you already have, that you trust and know worked for you. Then you can sift out only for the top. You don't have to do the entire container. Get the container set up with your soil, and then about that much on the top, you can sift it. So it's sifted on the top if you're worried that your little seed won't go through a chunk. And then press it in and go ahead and water it. I love these 2 systems because they hold a little water so they don't dry out. There'll always be water inside there a little bit, and yet the top will be dry enough for the seeds. So like I said, today was on soil. We're going to get into a whole lot more. I've got tons of videos from last year and years back. They're all good. I still use all those methods. So with that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. These are so easy to make. You print them up, you have your own pots out of food containers because you know how I upcycle and recycle. Bye-bye.